Oh yeah, it's always nice to have a good fade. Nice fade out on the track there. And high five to you, John J.E. Great show. Just before us today. And how are you all out there in All Flavors land? I am Wimbo77 and
I'm Naturally Lily.
In the studio today on quite, what I'd say, a very cold winter's day. What do you think, Lily?
Yeah, it was very cold today, very icy. It's almost preparing us for something, I think.
Let's hope it's not snow.
I think it might be,
Those people from the Sainsbury's advert might actually get their white Christmas after all.
Yes.
Isn't it? I know. Hi, Joy McKay. Hi, DJ Laro and George Flavors, all there in the chat room. Come on, guys. Once you lock on, do come and join us in the chat room tonight. And I must say, we are talking about some rather heavy, or tackling a rather heavy topic tonight. And we would like to get your views and how you feel about what it is that we will be speaking about. But in today's Black History Facts, did you know that it was Sammy Davis Jr.'s Earthstrong?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Sammy Davis Earthstrong.
What, today?
Today.
Oh, nice.
The 8th of December. He was born in 1925. Wow. Yeah, I think he broke quite a few barriers, didn't he, Sammy Davis Jr.? With the Rat Pack. Do you know Freddie, what's the guy's name now? Fred, he was a singer. He sang New York, New York. Start spreading the news. Anyway, don't worry about it. It was him. It was like the Rat Pack.
I'm leaving today. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Frank Sinatra.
That's
it. Right, it came back to me. See, the grey cell matters. It's what
has its moments.
It does have its moments. I think it's been having moments all day because I had a little bit of bad news today. But life does throw us these turns and twists and turns, but we do have to continue on regardless. And just remember that life is precious, life is beautiful, and we do have to really embrace it, every single ounce and essence of it, right?
This is very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah, so, I think the first thing we'll kick off with, something just a bit light, but it's not light at all because it's got to do with the Bank of England.
Yes.
And apparently they've been criticised for losing £50 billion of banknotes, of £50 £50 billion of banknotes.
How do you lose £50 billion worth of banknotes?
And it is the Bank of England, isn't it? They're around the world, high security, Threadneedle Street, all that stuff. You're right. How do you lose $50 billion?
I've misplaced a fiver before, but how do you
even a 20?
How do you misplace £50 billion worth of notes? Banknotes. These are actual banknotes that they've lost, right?
Yeah. And that can't be like everyone just stashing or stacking, because they said that maybe it's due to the fact that some people are stacking, saving their money over this whole period that we've been in, so people aren't kind of giving their banknotes back to the bank.
Stacking it in their mattress and not putting it in the bank?
Yeah. Doing a bit of a Ken doll.
Not £50 billion worth. No way.
Yeah, and it says that in stiff rebuke for Threadneedle Street, that Common Public Accounts Committee said that money which is equivalent to a stack of £5 notes more than 800 miles high. That's a lot of money.
Wow.
And they've lost it. So guys, what do you think's happened to that money out there? What do you think the Bank of England have done? Do you think that maybe the CEO, is it the CEO of the bank or the chief executive?
Whoever it is. Maybe they've done it to push the I don't know if it would make a difference, but to push the value of the pound up, maybe. I don't know.
But does it push the value up? Because the more you print is the less value that it has.
Exactly. So if you lose £50 billion worth of print, maybe that makes it more valuable. I don't know.
They say that maybe some of it might be abroad, because obviously when you travel, it gets, you get the foreign exchange. However, has anyone really travelled this year?
No, but I don't understand.
Has anyone travelled?
Is this taken in? Is this talking about money that's in circulation? Because obviously people have the odd banknotes in their house, in their purse, in their car, in wherever people keep their banknotes. But I don't understand when they say they've misplaced 50 billion pounds worth of banknotes. What does that? I don't know. I don't understand how you could misplace banknotes, especially if they're not traceable. Because one thing that they said is that banknotes in their very own design are not traceable, making it hard for the bank to follow the money and know exactly where its notes end up.
So that means that someone within the bank could have actually stolen that and just putting that on, put it to the side for a rainy day.
Yeah.
That rainy day fund.
We spoke about last week.
Yeah, that's a very big rainy day fund, isn't it?
Wow.
But how can you lose so much? Guys, let us know. 07895 134 713. Tell us what you think they might have done with that cash, where they've stacked the cash, if it's on some offshore account or something or somewhere. But it does have an effect, I'm sure, on the public, right? Because if they've got to reprint, then that, again, drives the economy down.
But what I find interesting, it says the value of banknotes in circulation has shot up this year, which the bank has said is probably because more people started hoarding cash during the COVID-19 pandemic in case they needed it. However, shops weren't accepting banknotes.
Very true.
A lot of payments were you needed to pay debit or credit card. So why on earth would people be hoarding banknotes if they know they can't? It's no good in a shop. Because generally the people that are going to do that are the people that are maybe older.
Business.
No, not businesses. Businesses aren't going to stash notes.
It's in a safe somewhere. But whose safe is it in? And that means it's not safe. Because we don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Right? And that's quite crazy. I mean, it says that more people... And we know that we are driving, or the system is driving towards a non-cashless society. So... they've lost that, so that's another thing. They think no more paper money, everything on card, which again makes it harder for the everyday person.
Yeah, because a lot of people still do deal. Like someone came into our office the other day and was asking, "Has anyone got any notes? I've left my purse upstairs," and it's almost like, "Oh yeah, wait, does anyone carry cash anymore?"
It's true.
No one really carries cash anymore. Everyone just tap tap tap.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that it took me a long time to start tapping.
Why?
Because I find that when you're tapping, you don't think about what you're spending.
That's the whole point of contactless.
That's what I didn't like about it.
It's when you take cash out of your wallet or out of your purse, you take out that £10 note, you count your change. You physically, it's like a agreement that you make with the money coming out of your purse, I'm going to put a certain amount back in you.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're using your contactless card or your Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever pay, you don't have that same mental conversation with yourself that you would have when you're paying with money.
Tap. It's really bad.
Yeah.
And when I first used it, I was like, ooh, it was just like a rush of through. But now, obviously, no, seriously, no, I don't. I don't consume too much, so I found that quite weird. But then again, with all the fraud and stuff that can go on as well, because there's a lot of scams going on.
Yeah, but you just got to be mindful. You've got to be vigilant.
And there was something that I wanted to tackle this evening, and we'll talk about it during the break. But that's again something really, really important when it comes down to us being safe and not being caught out by these fraudsters. Because obviously the bank does have to. It's going back to the bank, losing those banknotes, fraud, and how we're affected by it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a lot of money that's gone missing. We don't know where it is. We don't know what they've done with it. And, give us some pointers, guys. Let us know. 07895 134 713. Now, during the show, I'm going to be playing a couple of songs, and this is going to be a pointer as to who we're bringing on the show next week. All right, so maybe we might put out a little competition. It's going to be a bit of a hard one, but we'll do a little competition to see if anyone could figure out who we might be bringing on the show next week. All right, so
a special guest,
a very, very special guest, and we're looking quite forward to it, and so we'll see you in 5.
You're listening to the Drive Time Show on Allflavasradio.com. Yeah, alright.
The best radio station in the world.
Allflavasradio.com
is right here, right now.
Hi everyone, this is Shayla Prosper and I have a new album out and it's called Under My Skin. Filled with high energy jams like this. Mellow mid-tempo grooves like this.
Breathing in love, wishing and hoping we could get what we
And with smooth multi-slow jams like this.
ain't that love.
Grab yourself a copy from my website, ShaylaProsperMusic.com, and enjoy this collection of rich, warm, contemporary soul and R&B cuts that you will enjoy in your playlist for years to come. Under My Skin, out now.
Tune in to All Flavors Radio, Saturdays 8 to 10 with DJ Nige on the Shortiest Show, one of Eve's Lewis' favorite hangouts.
Allflavas Radio is now looking for radio presenters. Email us at info@allflavasradio.com.
Catch DJ Laro on Sundays with the Caribbean Party, 12 to 2, and the Vibe Show, Tuesdays 8 till 10 on All Flavors Radio.
Live 24/7 playing your favorite artists.
Hi, this is Everton Blender, and it's all about the Old Flavors Radio.
69 man Bushman, and guess what? You got it locked to our flavors.
Bumps scare you. I say come take a little winding up. Hey yo, it's your girl calling XP, the Booyah Queen, straight out of Dominica. Bigging up All Flavors Radio. Keep it locked.
All Flavors Radio.
Hi, I'm Heather Haywood, and I'm tuned to the Drive Time Show with Wimbo and Naturally on allflavasradio.com. Woo! Go there, girls.
That was the sounds of Crusaders featuring Randy Crawford. Oh, the Grey Cell Matters are going in. Never mind. So we were speaking before the break about the $50 billion, or pounds, should I say, that's gone missing from the Bank of England. And we mentioned about the scams that are also going on at this time, because there are an awful lot, being it in the festive season, and being it that a lot of people are under pressure, being it many, many different reasons as to why people would want to scam. Scams have been going on like forever. But now we were speaking about the contactless cards, weren't we?
Yeah.
And so we know that it's a lot easier to get hold of people's details, so forth. And there's one that's going around now where they call you. And if you answer the phone and they ask you a question, and then they try and get you to say yes, they try and get you to say various things, because I know in some instances in my bank that I say my voice is my passport, for instance.
Yeah.
And then that's what gets you through security. And this is actually what they're using. Wow. You say yes on the phone, and that if it's an Amazon package or something that you'd like to purchase, or for whatever various reasons, then they will
use your details that way.
Yeah, use your details. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think these people are very innovative, actually, because I just don't understand. They put so much time into trying to get someone's details with, why don't you use it for the greater good? But I know there's other ones that are going around at the moment. Like there's a DPD one that talks about your deliveries. We haven't been able to deliver your parcel. Please fill in these details. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay to get it re-delivered. And there's another one that's to do with your car tax. So they'll send you an email saying, "Oh, your payment for this month has failed. We're not going to take your direct debit anymore. Pay with a credit card." And some people go in and think, "Oh no, my thing's not been paid. Let me go and put my details in." But you should know that those sort of companies will never ask you for your details. Go and log in here and give us your bank details that way. It's always best to call to kind of clarify it. But they're just coming up with loads of different methods now. I like to just click on the from to see the email address.
But they look quite, some of them could look quite official. Because the one that I saw, it had kind of a .gov address, but then it had a woman's address thereafter.
Yeah.
So Jeanette at AOL. You know, the government aren't going to send you stuff. And like you rightly said, no, not with their personal. So, and it was kind of like a fluffy @.gov. Yeah. But it wasn't a .gov address. So really be mindful. But for people that are aware, younger people are aware of these things. But what about, the vulnerable?
Sometimes though, even as younger people, we're not aware because I've been, caught out many times where I've gone and clicked it to think, oh no, what is this referring to?
Yeah.
And then obviously you find out, no, they're just fishing for your information. But I think you should always, if you feel like it's dodgy, it usually is. In my opinion.
You use that second brain in your gut. And
if you think it's dodgy, you need to contact the person that sent you the email. So if you think it's from DVLA, for example, contact the DVLA and say, is this correct? Or check your bank statement.
Yeah. Because I did when I saw that one from the DVLA. And I was like, but I'm sure that went out. So I was able to go in and, again, check your bank statement for the month and say, right, that's been paid. And then I even had one from O2. But when I went into the store, because that looks, again, it's not, they say they always use their official O2. But the way that it came, I thought that, oh no, I didn't pay the bill. So I went into the shop.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, no. And he gave me a discount. It was like, oh gosh, he took my monthly payments down to
nothing.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, oh, thanks, guys. So we're trying. But, I went into the shop and they could confirm.
Yeah, someone did send something to me saying that the telephone companies, they're using telephone companies so you haven't paid your bill and things like that. But it's with anything now, because I just did some training the other day on information, and it was saying that with most companies, they will use their kind of company name. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So if it's from, for example, info@allflavasradio.com, they will always use their verified name. They won't use it from someone's Hotmail. If it's coming from a Hotmail or whatever, then it's generally not verified. But yeah, they're getting really... The DPD one got me. I was like, oh my, what did I order? And then I was thinking, no, but I haven't ordered anything. It's so random. But it does have you questioning yourself,
I saw, it was a video and it was a delivery woman. I think this was in the States.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a guy, she actually worked for the company. She delivered the packages, but then she took them back. She scanned them as if the person wasn't home. But the guy had a ring bell. I don't know if you guys were aware of a Ring doorbell where it can see who comes to the door. And he was watching her and he videoed her. She lost her job.
Good.
Good. But even the people this is a bit like Bank of England. It was an inside job. Everyone's doing an inside job,
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
Because then she's going to go and sell that on to someone else and make money from that, isn't she?
But she's got a job. Is it worth, guys, beautiful people, is it worth, your job's worth, going against the company and doing underhanded stuff? I mean, you've got to think about this. What is the point?
Okay, I just think, given the current climate that we're in, I said this to you earlier, if the general populace of people have not realised that they need to have a side hustle by this point in time, maybe they're just really, really happy where they are, but there is always something. You need to always supplement your income. And thinking of that woman who does delivery, the first thing that comes to my mind is, she'd be great for things like drop shipping, which is being that person. You have your own little online shop. You never ever owned a product, but you have your own online shop. Someone says, oh, I want to buy an iPhone, for example. You'll charge them an extra £100 on top of what the iPhone actually costs. And all you got to do is get the iPhone people to deliver it to that person's address. Wow. And you make your money.
There you go. You see a lot of these adverts that pop up on YouTube, don't you? Like telling you or saying how you can actually do it, have a bit of a side hustle, and how I guess her side hustle was hustling with Amazon.
And she could have still been that hustle on Amazon, but legit.
Yeah.
You know.
So think about it. Your job's worth is not worth even you get people that probably clean offices that where others leave their stuff lying around. It's not your job's worth to pinch that person's stuff because it eventually you're going to get caught out.
Yeah.
And as she did with that ring lighter, she got caught out, and now she hasn't got a job. You know, so think of ways in which we can make money, but to earn it legitimately.
I know a lot of ways. Feel free to contact me, guys, on Instagram.
Let us know what ways.
No, seriously, there are so many different methods that you can be in the comfort of your own bed and be making money. You can make money in your sleep. You know, it's now we live in a society we live in the digital age. I think before the digital age, maybe it was a bit harder, the work that you had to put in. I mean, you still got to put in the work, but there's not much of an outside grind now. Like, you can literally be in the comfort of your home making that money.
It's very, very true. You just have to be a bit innovative and, like, break that mould, break that box and not be stuck to think, oh, gosh, day job, and that's it. Because we're realising now in this day and age that it's just not cutting it. A day job really, you know. I was reading the local paper today, and even people that have nothing in place because they are working, and we've spoken about this a long time ago, they're having to go and tap into resources or food bank resources because they can't afford to live.
Because people are living currently so close to the breadline that you are literally... It's one of those things, isn't it, where you just think, like, even thinking about what I do, so you can't think your job is secure. You can't think, oh, yeah, I've got this job for the next 40 years, because nobody knows what is happening tomorrow. No one knew in 2019 that 2020 was going to be an epidemic.
Absolutely.
Or a pandemic, sorry.
Yes.
Nobody knew that.
We were just going about jolly lives.
Exactly.
You know.
Oh, there's a virus in Wuhan. Like, no one really paid any attention. And then it started affecting us. And then the light bulb started going off.
But could you imagine if, do you know, when it comes to technology, thank goodness for technology. I mean, we're using technology tonight to broadcast this, right? Yeah. Who'd have ever thought that you'd have been able to do something like this? And with the fact of, like, Teams, with the fact of Zoom, with the fact of all these StreamYard, whatever things that we can use to facilitate whatever business that we may be running, I think it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and we have come a long way from when we was at school. We had nothing in the way like this. So if something had happened, I guess, when it comes to a pandemic, say back in the 70s, we'd have been stuffed.
Complete shutdown, yeah.
Like, how would we have survived that?
Yeah.
But now, sometimes I do think that there is a bit of an ulterior motive behind this whole COVID thing.
But even if there is, you need to think of it in the sense that for yourself, you know, going forward and starting your businesses and things like that, you've had to rethink how you will go forward because of the situation that we've been put in. And it's almost like a blessing in disguise. If this hadn't happened, we would still be doing things in a certain way, only being able to reach a certain demographic of people, you know, whereas now we're put in a position where, okay, this has completely thrown us off.
U-turn, yeah.
But I can actually reach way more people than I potentially thought I could have reached if I had just gone down that one pathway that had set in front of me before.
Totally. And it's not just a national thing, it can now be an international thing. No, I had a lady that joined in on one of my meetings, and she was from the States. A lot of people that I know from the United States. And next week, this is one little tip, guys. Remember I said, listen out for some little pointers as to who we might be having on the show next week. And the person that we'll be having on the show next week, they're from the United States of America.
Okay, yeah.
That's your first little clue, okay? First clue. And so we're able to even line up. We're not in the same room because we've had guests come in, but you can actually, we've had an interview, didn't we, over the phone, one of the first ones, and that was amazing. So, you know, like we said, there's scams, but then we don't need to be scammed.
Yeah,
but then
everything isn't a scam as well.
Yeah, everything isn't a scam too, but that side hustle, we were talking about the lady with the van that worked for it was for Amazon, stealing the merchandise and then losing her job. She'd have just found a side hustle, she'd have been all right. You know, so what are your thoughts out there as regards to having a side hustle? And do you have any suggestions perhaps for other people? I mean, Leisha, you've said that one about the drop shipping. I think that's really great. Do you give us one more?
Investments.
Yeah.
Investments, like long-term investments, short-term investments, trading.
Right.
That kind of investing.
Trading, though, you've got to learn. You do have to learn, don't you?
You do have to learn how to trade. It's not... I think a lot of people want to make fast money, and fast money is not lasting money, in my opinion. So you have to... With anything, you have to learn the skill. I mean, we go to uni for 3 to 4 years to get a relatively mediocre job that we go to 9 to 5, and at 65 we can retire. Why not learn another skill within 6 months to a year?
Yep.
And make money at the same time.
Absolutely. And again, obviously we've got to invest in ourselves. You pay into something, but you learn. Always. You can actually learn something that's going to advance you as a person. Another one I can give you is I run courses. So I have online courses where people can tap into those, go and download, like writers, that have writers courses, but also ones on well-being and mental health. So you can tap into those. And running online workshops via Zoom or via Teams. So that's about four side hustles there,
Do you know, I think a lot of people don't realise that each one of us has something that we can kind of hone in on, a skill. Some people are good at making things, some people are good at speaking, some people are good at technology. Each of those things can potentially pay you.
Yeah.
Do you know? So like YouTube, who would have thought however many years ago that YouTube came out that we would now be using, I mean, I'm sure Jayla's school uses a YouTube to teach
all the time.
them. Yeah. So who knew how big that platform was going to be and how many people would be able to build wealth off of having funny little channels on YouTube. So simple things like that. You just find out what you're good at, and
that's a monthly income for some. But you have to have, on YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and also a certain amount of hours of watch time. So again, you know, you might be a comedian, you might be anyone. Just be ingenious, you know, be innovative and find something that people can tap into. But you know, you find the problem. Someone has a problem, you have the solution. So
everyone's got that skill. Everyone's got something they can hone in on, and we just need to
tap into it. So whatever skill, whatever something that problem solution. So if you've got something that you know, and I think all of us have something. I think is it John Jay or Charlie Muir? They've started putting their stuff up on Mixcloud.
Okay.
Like their mixes and stuff like that. That's another one, isn't it? Because people love music.
Yeah.
DJs looking for stuff. Like you put it up and then people tap into that and buy it. You know, so that's another form for musicians. Maybe Shayla Prosper.
Yeah.
She's got her stuff up on her website. She's selling her albums through a website. And again, that's the same. I sell my albums through my website. Again, just how can we utilise what we have, what we're good at, and help other people with what we have. Exactly. All right. So yeah, that's something really to think about, and especially in this day and age, we can be as innovative as we like. We can really bring something to the table, and like I said, problem solution. We help other people out, and from it, we can actually have a side hustle or even have a career out of helping others. All right, so we'll see you in 5.
Hi everyone, this is Shayla Prosper, and I have a new album out, and it's called Under My Skin. Filled with high energy jams like this. Mellow mid-tempo grooves like this. And smooth slow jams like this. Grab yourself a copy from my website, ShaylaProsperMusic.com, and enjoy this collection of rich, warm, contemporary soul and R&B cuts that you will enjoy in your playlist in years to come. Under My Skin, out now.
Tune in to All Flavors Radio, Saturdays 8 to 10 with DJ Nige on the Shortiest Show, one of Eve's Lewis' favorite hangouts.
All Flavors Radio is now looking for radio presenters. Email us at info@allflavasradio.com.
Catch DJ Laro on Sundays with the Caribbean Party, 12 to 2 on the Vibe Show, Tuesdays 8 till 10 on All Flavors Radio.
24/7 playing your favorite artists.
Hi, this is Everton Blender, and it's all about the Old Flavors Radio.
Sits in your man Bushman, and guess what? You got it locked to our flavors.
I scare you. I say, come take a little winding up. Hey, yo, it's a girl calling XP, the Booyah Queen, straight out of Dominica. Bigging up All Flavors Radio. Keep it locked.
All Flavors Radio.
That was Barbara Mason with Another Man. And the first track that we played was a track done by Stevie Wonder, Do I Do? Oh yeah. So Another Man is beating my time. He went into a closet. She was looking for a dress. She couldn't find it because he had pinched it to wear for himself.
Fair enough. As they do.
And yeah, as they do. And yeah, lots of things, shopping down on a street where women normally shop. So I'm sure you could gather what the topic of conversation is going to be right now. And that is, yes, being deviant or underhanded on the down low. I'm going to call it being on the down low. And really, it was her man that was being like that, right? And this is something where men go out to seek erotic gratification, right, through means that are considered maybe odd or unacceptable to most people in their community or influential persons. Now, I know that we live in a society where no one's gender specific anymore. But the reason why we thought we'd tackle this subject is that it was a friend of ours, and he asked us to tackle this topic due to the fact that there's a lot of men that are out there on the down low.
Yeah.
And because of this, although we read an article saying that a lot of BME men, that they are quite careful, but HIV, when it comes to the BME community, is quite high. I think it's 1,500.
Okay.
Was one statistic. This is African.
1,500
in the UK.
Out of what?
This is heterosexuals, but it was about 4,000 and something amongst gay.
But out of what number?
Well, the population, I'd have thought.
Because the population is
quite big.
Billion.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll work that one out. I'll get the numbers up. I'll call them up in a minute. But That's quite shocking, isn't it?
So 1,500 of these men were...
No, that's heterosexual, yeah. They've taken it home, or couples where a man has taken it home, HIV, and infected a partner.
Okay.
Women can do it as well. Women can bring, obviously STIs. We're talking in this case, because this is something that we don't talk much of, is that HIV is still out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, are we being careful enough? Or in the sense of couples being in, we're talking about sexual deviance here now, going out from the partnership and messing around, coming home.
And bringing home something
to their partner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So your thoughts on that, Lily? Well, that's a big sigh.
Obviously it happens. Men, women wonder.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether they're wondering, men are wondering to men, women are wondering to women, it's still unacceptable. What I find interesting is the statistics of supposedly heterosexual men going and being in gay relationships, going and, you know, seeing another man.
Yeah.
Whilst still being married to their wife, and then thinking it's okay to come back and sleep with the wife.
Yeah. Or even something even worse is I was speaking to Marge at the start end, and someone had been outside of the commitment, outside of the relationship. Both of the couple, the lady that he was dealing with, she had HIV. He caught HIV
from her.
Yes, but he was going to get married, and he felt that he shouldn't divulge that to his fiancée.
So he was having a relationship with someone that wasn't his fiancée. The person that wasn't his fiancée was HIV positive.
Yeah.
And he was still going to get married and not tell her that.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
It's quite scary.
Because it's not actually, you don't have to disclose that you have that disease. It's not a disclosable disease. If you decide to go around for the rest of your life and not tell anybody, that's well within your, like with anything you've got, I guess.
Yeah.
It's well within your rights to say, no, I want to keep this to myself. However, if you're going into a relationship with someone who thinks that you're committed, or you're in a relationship with someone that thinks you're committed, surely it's extremely selfish on your part to withhold that information from that person.
Yeah. And this is my point as well now. So I asked you a question a while ago and said, even if you're in a committed relationship, do you think that it is right to go out there or to go to the clinic and be checked on a regular basis as a couple?
I just, no. Why?
No? All right, then I'm going to throw that out to the beautiful people out there listening. Okay, guys? We're asking the question, well, Leisha did put one in the chat box about $5,000 if your ex gives you $5,000 for your birthday. We did ask it last week. Your current partner says to give it back. Would you? But this question as well is, could you type this one in the chat as well, Lily? Is that, do you think that it's necessary, if you're in a committed relationship, to have regular checks, sexual health checks?
I just feel like if you're in a committed relationship, it's almost like you saying to that person, I don't trust you, let's go and get checked.
But just like that,
it's the same with the DNA test. I felt the same way. I think if you are in a committed relationship, why must we both go through this horrible experience every single year just to prove that we're committed to
I'm
one
not saying
another?
every year. Maybe every 2 years or 3 years.
Regardless of how often it is.
You know, because it's not a level of trust, is it?
It is.
Well, it should be a level of trust. But people go out there and they do things.
Yeah.
Right? We spoke about this trust thing as well before, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, but it's a touchy subject, and these are taboo subjects that maybe people don't tackle But we need to speak about these things. I found the article.
Go on.
And it says, in particular, men who have sex with men and black African people are disproportionately affected. So that's talking about that. It says, of the 4,453 people diagnosed with HIV in the UK in 2018, this is in 2018,
450, yeah.
4,453.
Yeah.
51%, that's the high, that's half, were gay or bisexual men.
Yeah, but we knew that before.
Of 1,550, 1550, heterosexual people diagnosed with HIV in 2018, 41% were black African men and women.
So 455. So out of, what's that, 2,000 something?
Yeah. 2018, that's... No. This is two separate groups.
So, yeah, you said 4,553.
4,453.
51% of them were gay, homosexual.
Gay or bisexual.
Gay or bisexual.
Yeah.
And of that 51%, which works out to be just over 2,000 something maybe, 40-something% of those were African Caribbean.
And of the 1,000 heterosexual, there's two different groups.
Oh.
Two different groups. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so heterosexuals and bisexual and gay people.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those heterosexuals that have tested positive, that they've necessarily gone into they've got that from a gay relationship. That could be men who are, being...
Bi?
No,
maybe?
Not being bi.
Oh, not bi, because there's
men being unfaithful and sleeping with a female that's got HIV.
Yeah.
Or sleeping with loads of females that's got HIV. That doesn't necessarily mean it's coming from a man sleeping with a man.
Right.
Even though they do have the higher probability, 51% of them would be homosexual or bisexual, doesn't necessarily mean that from the heterosexual men they're sleeping with a gay person.
Right, because
it just means that they're either very, very free with their sexuality, or they're cheating on their other half with someone else, or a number of people.
Or just not even from a young person's perspective, because we looked at it from a young person's perspective, didn't we? And the sexual stereotypes that they see, they've got to go into a relationship or go into it headlong because they're peers and all that kind of stuff, and not being sexually educated to know that you've got to protect yourself, have a bit of respect for the women that you're seeing.
Okay, you know. Yeah. I'm going to be very, very blunt.
Yeah, be blunt.
And I think a lot of older Caribbean and African people are not going to like me for this.
Right.
I honestly blame the parents.
For what?
When it comes to, I'm going to talk from my generation, maybe the generation down and above. When it comes to talking about sexuality, talking about sex, talking about relationships, we do not have the same openness with our parents as maybe other cultures do, especially the girls.
Yeah.
There's no way and this isn't anything against my parents, but there was no way at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I would have spoken to my parents about going and getting birth control or anything like that. No way.
But birth control is different to contracting.
No. It's not different. Birth control and protecting yourself the same. To me, it's on the same board.
It's on the same board.
If you're
don't get confused.
It's not. No, birth control is a pill.
Yeah,
that's for me. But I'm saying birth control on both sides.
Okay.
Male and female, it's still across the board. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But as a young person, I would not have that conversation with my parents. And I think generally in African Caribbean households, that is a general consensus.
No.
We don't have those conversations.
Well, we should be having those conversations. I
now,
think. Yeah,
maybe parents are becoming a bit more awakened to that they have to acknowledge that maybe their 14-year-olds maybe active.
Yeah.
But are those 14-year-olds confident enough to come and have that conversation with you and say, oh, I like this boy, I like this girl, but what do I do?
I think, but that's a bit young though, isn't it?
But this is what I'm saying. We're having this conversation right now. You're saying, but it's a bit young. That's why African Caribbean households have the higher risk, in my opinion, of their children going off and doing things behind the parents' back, and the parents not being aware of how sexually active their children are, because we don't want to have that conversation with our children.
Let's take this call. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am wonder and fool.
Oh, Anthony, how you doing?
I'm great.
Oh,
yeah.
Your
I was just hearing you a lot. You said a lot of great things today. You were talking about passive income, which I'm so big into right now, and now you're talking about sexual deviance. So I guess let's go with sexual deviance now.
Okay,
so my question first is to Lily saying, okay, I'm coming for you now. So it's just wanted to get to know why you said what you said earlier. You said that it is not acceptable to be different. And I wasn't quite sure where that was from. Are you saying, let me help you out a bit, are you saying it's unacceptable if you're in a committed heterosexual relationship, or you're just saying it's just not acceptable at all to be sexually different, i.e. like not being heterosexual?
No.
I never said it's unacceptable to be different. I said it's unacceptable to be deviant, in the sense that you're deceiving the person that you're with. If you are openly saying to the person, look, I am a free spirit, I like to have relations, and this is the life I live, then you do what you need to do. But I just feel it's wrong for you to be in a supposed committed relationship, and I say that with air quotes, whether you're in a bisexual relationship, a gay relationship, a heterosexual relationship, asymmetrical, whatever. It, in my opinion, is wrong for you to mislead the other person and say, yes, baby, I'm committed to you, and then behind that back you're going and having these extra curricular activity relationships. Do you understand what I mean? There's if you're different, you're different. If you decide to have whatever type of sexual relationship you want to have, that's your choice. We are in a pro-choice world. But if you are going to be in a relationship where you say you're committed to that person, you're committed to that person, unless you openly state from the beginning, I like to be free.
Yeah, and also you was made the point about it was the fiance. He didn't divulge the information. That's what was unacceptable.
Yeah.
Not divulging that he had HIV, but still was going to get married to that person without letting her know.
All right. It's good to clarify that anyway, because I was just watching your back anyway.
I know you got me, Anthony. I know you got me.
So, on the issue of black men, obviously, this is very close to my heart, and it wasn't something that I wanted to go for. I've always been different. Like when I was a child in Africa, so my African primary school, my nickname was girl. Like they called me Obering, meaning like a girl. But it was very innocent and was playful because I was always hanging out with girls. I had more girls than your average guy when I was growing up. So I was kind of like the envy of the boys, like, you know, and even in church I was called girl because I always get leads, soprano leads, and even classical pieces. Like I was singing higher than some girls when I was 19 because my voice refused to drop. So it had kind of like some really cool stuff. But as I grew older and I started to, you know, when I came to the UK and I started, it became a different thing. That's when I started seeing, okay, this is not quite cool and young and innocent as when I was little. This has become a serious subject. And that's when I started investigating this further. So actually this conversation is great because it's so empowering. Apart from the fact there's a lot of cultural ignorance or religious ignorance about human sexuality, that is one thing we really, really need to understand, because if you understand it, then you save young men and particularly African communities, you would save young developing people from a life of trauma and hell just because they're just different. You know, if I was a female now and I had lots of testosterone, I would go and do sports. I'll be running for my country or playing football. But if you're a guy and you have a bit of more progesterone than your average guy, so you dehumanize him. When actually you could counsel him and help him. Maybe he could become a hairstylist, a hairdresser, a dressmaker, a cake maker. So many great things that you could even a female impersonator as an actor. Look at Tyler Perry. You look at Little Britain. But look at RuPaul. That's a multi-billion-pound industry. But because of religion and culture, we completely, I can go on and on about this because it's so annoying because androgyny, there's an African god that is androgynous called Oshumare in the Yoruba land from Africa. This god has been in this culture for thousands of years. He balances feminine and masculine energy, right? Oshumare, that god. Now, Oshumare literally means rainbow. In Africa, in the Yoruba culture, it means rainbow. The same rainbow that is appropriated in the West by the LGBT. So you have Westerners who come to Africa, taking your gods, run away with it, monetize it, and then they leave you with a statue of a dead Mary, telling you Africans we're bowing to it and asking you to pray for you. Where is the cognitive dissonance in that? But meanwhile, they're taking Oshumare to the West and they're making billions out of it. And Western Africa are being impoverished, praying to White Mary for deliverance. Wow. Listen, no. You lost me. So for me personally, I had a personal journey trying to understand what is wrong with me. I'm just me. This is just who I am. I'm naturally
and that's the point, isn't
a
it?
calm girl. This is just me. So I had to do my own research and find out. But back to the sexual deviance thing. I think Africa, and this is probably leading nicely to that because we have so been misinformed about a lot of things, not even just about sexuality, even about who the hell we are. So we have this taboo, like, oh, it's off topic, it's unacceptable, you have to ostracize them. But meanwhile, whatever you demonize will go underground. It's like drugs. You say it's cannabis, you say it's illegal, but they're going to do it anyway. They're still going to do it. So what's better? Rather pretend the problem doesn't exist and you shove it on the carpet, confront the problem, discuss it,
we have to
educate, inform, understand it, and find the pros and cons about it. And that leads nice to the fact that couples who are bisexual, smart black women, I know this firsthand. It's not even like I read in a book. I see it. Smart black women who know their men are bent or bisexual, they protect them and they negotiate. They get to let their men get a suitor, a boyfriend or lover, whatever, and they get to know that person so they can bring that person around them so he is in a safe, controlled environment where he's not running off behind our back and trying to get off with any Tom, Dick and Harry, any alley or a back alley club, sauna, hotel where that man will go and compromise himself and then compromise her on her matrimonial bed. That's how smart, forward-thinking, educated black women roll now. Because you can't, if you love the man and he's your provider and you built a life together or you're probably childhood friends and you want to help him, actually just a humanitarian level, but also you have an interest in your children and your welfare, that's the best thing you will do. So that way it's a win-win. But what would you rather do? Pretend that, oh, he's a man. My man is not like that. But he's doing it anyway, and he's going to bring diseases to you. And not only that, he's going to spread diseases around the African community and around the LGBTQIA plus community. That is why the Terence Higgins Trust report did categorically spell it out that the HIV is actually more rampant among black men, whether they're heterosexual or gay, and women. So there is a problem. We have a problem, and denying it is not helping anybody. So we need to grow up and start. I mean, it annoys me because you go out there with these men, and the more homophobic they are, the more bisexual these men are. Because here's my theory: if you are a straight man and you walk into a room, you don't need to tell a woman that, don't you know the kind of man that I am? Don't you know that I'm a straight man? Girls will naturally gravitate towards you. Even gay men, bisexual will give you props of, wow, you are the personification of a man. I want to be like you. So technically, you are a powerful male because you can not only try to make gay men or bi men to be more like a real man like you are, and you want women to like you. But when you see a man being so I'm going to burn you, I'm going to do that, don't look at me, don't you? Clearly he's overcompensating for his lack of what he wants to be.
Wow, thank you so much, Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony.
You can tell this is close to your heart, but we've got to cut you.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. Thank you. There's a lot of food for thought there, I think. A lot of food for thought there.
Sorry for the rant.
It's okay. Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye.
Love you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. So it's so true, isn't it? About, as Anthony said there, it's rampant. It's something that needs to be spoken about within our community. Because often, like you said, our parents will never speak about it. It's just something that you just sweep under the carpet or just put the blinkers on or be like an emu that buries their head in the sand. But it's something that is happening within our community, and if we can be safe and save another life, as it were, in the sense of, yes, these things are happening, and what we're going to do about it, then it makes it all the better than having to end up in a situation like that man with his fiancée. And then that's a whole nother new can of worms, right?
Yeah, and I think that Anthony raised a good point, and myself having quite I wouldn't say strict, I'm going to say the word religious because that's generally what comes out of convictions. But it is, religion does make it very rigid how you can or what topic you can talk about, especially when it comes to someone's sexuality. But I do think it's like what Anthony said, being parents, being, of a strict religious background or whatever, would you prefer to protect your child and keep your child healthy and safe, even mentally healthy, or would you prefer to, like he said, brush it under the rug? No, it doesn't really happen. No, you're not like that. And then the inevitable happens, whether it's them, coming home with a sexually transmitted disease, a baby, or anything else that can come out of, in unsafe relationships, I'm going to say it like that. What would you prefer? And I do think it's a conversation that we can have many, 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 many times over.
We can't do it for half an hour.
No.
Yeah.
But within the African-Caribbean community, it is something that, the statistics show it.
Yeah.
If it's more rampant among us, there is definitely a reason why.
And that must be, again, going back to the education, educating ourselves. And, sometimes you just have to face things head on and accept that whatever is being presented and see how, not to deal with it, but how we can prevent it, prevent these things again. So it's about that awareness. It's about having an understanding. And yes, Lily.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, within our community, we have an issue when it comes to speaking to our children about it. And then we send them to school and they supposedly teach them sex education.
Yeah.
Why is it so such a taboo for our children to learn this in school? Because if you're not going to teach it at home,
but it's the way
they have to learn an education from somewhere?
I know a friend of mine, she's like a nurse. She goes into schools and shows youngsters how to, use a condom, put it on, they have the
Bunsen burner.
Yeah, or whatever they put it on. But she goes in and shows them how to do that. But that's potentially protecting them and letting them know what to do if they ever find themselves in that situation. I feel that it would be better coming from the parents.
Yes.
But if the parents don't, because we took you out sex ed, right? It wasn't allowed, and I don't even know if we taught you any. Did we teach you any of it? To some degree, I spoke about things, but I'm not went into the nitty gritty of it exactly. So I must have spoken to you about it. But it's important, to not be ashamed of your nakedness, not to be ashamed of who you are, and to be able to be who you are. And I know that some youngsters, they come out, but in this world that we live in, sometimes they do push a demographic on people as well. They do have an agenda to push certain issues onto people.
That's
but then sometimes
opinion,
that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
All right, like we say, everything we speak about on this show is our opinion on it. Don't take it as gospel. Go and do your research, and further, if you're interested in the topic, go and further the interest and find out a little bit more about it. We can only bring you a small amount in a small amount of time. So quite a heavy topic there, but we've put out a couple of questions there, beautiful people. So you're in a committed relationship. Should you still go and get tested at the, what's it called, at the clinic regularly? Sexual health clinic, every so often? And if your ex gives you $5,000 for your birthday and your current partner says to give it back, would you give it back? So come on, guys, call in and let us know what you think about what we're speaking about tonight. Yes, Lily?
What I would be interested to know is what the ages of these statistics are, because from something I know, they only see, in sexual health clinics, they only see you up to a certain age. I think it's about age 25, where you can go, you can get free contraception and stuff like that. So I'd be interested to know what the ages of the people are in these studies, if it's more rampant upon the older post 25 ages. Maybe that might give some hints as to why people are getting these diseases.
Yeah.
Or if it's just lack of education. Because I find it very interesting that they only provide this service, sexual health service, family planning for under 25s.
And thereafter you're on your own. But then I'm sure by the time you're 25, you should have some form of knowledge or understanding of
You'd be
sexual
surprised.
health.
I'm with an app, and some of the questions in relation to sexual health and sex and relationships are shocking.
Right.
Like, you would think you're part of this group because you're either a mother, you want to be a mother, or if you've got children, so you've had sex. But the knowledge is actually quite shocking. It did make me step back and think, do you know what? What is the education that they are giving to young people? I do know that so I always speak about the Youth Plug because it's such a great new budding company that's come about, and they do provide schools they get people to come in and talk to schools and stuff. And I did a speak for them last week, and they had someone in the school that we was in talking about sexual health, and she was a sexual health nurse. And the topic, she did go quite deep in. She gave some good knowledge, but that's one school out of however many thousands there are in the UK. But it does make me think from some of the questions that grown women are asking in this group, what they are being told.
So what it is, you said not to 25, 16 to 25, you can go to a sexual health clinic, right? So here's another side hustle, guys. All right, I get them.
No,
I
you
get
can't
these
do a
downloads all the
side
time.
hustle if you're not.
Listen,
you can't just make a side hustle about the education.
We said about being innovative. All right, so if you do have an idea about these things, starting up a business, a startup, educating women. Can you see where I'm going with this?
I can, but you do need to have some education.
Of course you do. Instance. Yeah, but you can go and you can study a little bit for it.
Yeah, because we did say educate yourself. Yeah.
So we've always got to keep on. We never stop learning. We never stop learning. But that's a great side hustle, going and teaching. You should be on there teaching these women. That's another.
Not about sexual health. No, thank you.
Problem, solution. They don't know certain things. That's the problem. You give them the solution and how they can better look after themselves. you know, so any sexual health coaches, there you go. All right. I think I knew a guru once or other, but I'm sure they're out there. They're definitely out there.
They are.
All right.
But are they out there in our community? That's the question.
Well, this is it. This is it. And we find that a lot of there's a lot of niche within our community. There's a lot of people that we can help. There's lots of things that we can actually be doing to help elevate. Right?
Can I be, maybe it's going to be ignorant, but I feel like in this instance, do we want to be helped?
That's true.
Because it's one of those things where, like I was saying before, it's one of those taboo topics. Us talking about it on the show, we talk about taboo topics because that's what Wimbo and Naturally Lily do.
Yes.
Okay. But are these topics that are then going to transcend? Is this going to continue on the outside, or is it just, we've said it on tonight's show, and then parents are going to just be like, yeah, no, not talking to my child about sex.
Yeah.
I'm not having that conversation because them now going to do it in my house.
The thing is, once you know, it's up to you what you do with the information. You can only divulge it. But if people want to accept it and go away and do their research and then say, oh, do you know what, this is really good and I am going to do it, then that's a bonus. If not, then we still remain in ignorance, and then we've still got a lot of work to do within the community. So it's really us making that choice, you know. But with the times that we're living in, it would be quite ignorant not to do anything about it. That's, again, my opinion. That's my opinion. So please don't shoot the messenger, as it were. You know, and we're all entitled to have an opinion. We're all entitled to speak. We live in a free world. Well, I'm not too sure, given the fact that we've been on household arrest for the past how many months, you know, and that they monitor everything. But at the moment, we can speak about the things that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right then, beautiful people. We will see you in 5. Gary, Joy McKay, Mark Philogene, who is also on from 10 till 12. So Derek Givens there, that's a track called If You Could See It, featured in a film, Where the Heart Is, I think that was the name of the film. What's this? Joy McKay says, I truly appreciate your encouragement and kindness towards the listeners, your research and commitment to discussion others let fall by the wayside. Thanks for your details of places to find assistance. Please continue sharing and caring about the marginalised majority. Blessings always, ladies, from my heart to All Flavors community. Oh, thank you so much, Joy. That's very beautiful. And yes, I know we do touch on various topics. They might strike a nerve because we possibly don't want to speak about it, or like you're like, oh, yeah, no, let's tackle it. Let's tackle it head on and see, you know, there's a Terence Higgins Trust. And he's always, from the 80s, I remember Terence Higgins dealing with HIV because it was very rampant, and it's still rampant, but it's just something that we do not speak about in this day and age. And sexual deviancy, going outside of a union, going outside of a relationship, and, you know, putting your partner in jeopardy. If you want to do that, go outside, but don't come back. That's what I say. Go outside, but don't come back. If that's what you want to do, you know. So thank you so much for your words of encouragement too. And thank you guys so much for listening. It's a wonderful platform, the Allflavasradio.com. I take my hat off to George Flavors putting all this together. And seriously, I think that the next time that they have these awards that come round, so let's look out for it. Well, we will look out for it, and we're going to vote George Flavors, let him get a nice award to say thank you for contributing towards the community and enabling us, and enabling the DJs, enabling everyone to be able to have their say. So, Lily, you know that we're going through the Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And what have you taken out from the discussions that we've had this evening?
As in, what topic have I chosen?
Yeah, what topic?
So I have chosen the 10th step towards riches.
Okay.
Based on our conversation today.
Yeah.
The 10th step is the mastery of sex transmutation.
Okay.
So I'm going to read a little section from this and then I'm going to expand.
Yes.
It says, the meaning of the word transmute is, in simple language, the changing or transferring of one's element or form of energy into another. The motion of sex brings into being a state of mind. Because of ignorance on the subject, this state of mind is generally associated with the physical, and because of improper influences to which most people have been subjected in acquiring knowledge of sex, things essentially physical have been highly biased the mind. Why did I choose this?
Yeah.
Because I think within our conversation today, we've obviously spoke about sexual deviancy, and there's the point here where we spoke about energy, transferring one's energy onto another. And the act itself is a transference of energy.
Yeah.
So when you think about the man or the woman that's in a so-called committed relationship, that energy should be between you and your partner. That should not be between you and your partner and the third, fourth, fifth party that you've decided to introduce.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what throws the energy between you and that person completely off. If you've made an agreement within yourself that you said, look, I'm happy living the free life, then let your energy flow free. But if you have made a commitment to that person, then you need to understand that this is our energy, and I'm not going to break this cycle by going off and being distracted elsewhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No.
But also when it speaks about the bias of how we look at the act itself, that is based on what the physical is. The bias is, some people look at it as a negative thing. I think Anthony mentioned about, the devil that trying to put it under the covers. Let's not talk about it right now. Even though I know one day you're going to do it, I don't want to talk about it with you. Making it something that's so negative. And
and dirty.
And
people
dirty.
Look at it like, oh no, but no, let's just discuss it. It's not that way.
Right.
Right. But like you said, that I love that, the energy and the transmutation of that energy. But I think when Napoleon Hill spoke about it, it's actually a really beautiful thing because that energy can be put to, that sexual energy, to creative use.
It contributes to, listen, the book's called Think and Grow Rich.
Right.
It contributes to one's wealth.
Yes.
Used correctly.
Right.
Used correctly. It contributes to one's wealth. Wealth is health. It is actually very healthy.
Yeah.
To have a nice, robust sexual relationship. For whatever relationship, I'm talking about monogamous relationship that you're in, is very healthy.
Trustworthy, monogamous, and keeping that way, keeping the energy in amongst the couple that have decided to make that commitment to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've spoken a lot about, our what did we call it the other day? I love MOT, and we've spoken about mental health and men's mental health and loads of different things in the 19 weeks, guys, we've been doing this show. And we need to understand there are many, many, many contributing factors to all of the different topics that we've spoken about when it comes to relationships and our mental health. And specifically on this topic of relationships and sexual relationships, it is healthy if you keep it healthy.
Yes. Yeah. So, do you know, I kind of retract, and I think you've answered that question about being in a committed relationship. Really, it's not necessary. No. It's not necessary, because if you are both, solid enough and you trust each other enough, then you don't have to.
No.
Yeah. So that one's answered, but you just quickly answer the other one.
The £5,000 one. Oh my goodness. So I know for a fact that my partner would not be telling me to give back £5,000. He told me to double it.
Flip it.
Give back the rest. So you make 10 and then you can give the person back the 5. I think the general consensus is that if someone gives you £5,000 and they were previously in a relationship with you, they're more than likely to have an ulterior motive. My view on that is the fact that that's their problem, not mine.
Yeah.
And I will happily take the money, you know. If you have an issue further on, then you shouldn't have given me the money in the first place.
That's right. But if you take the money, you're going to kind of make sure you take a contract saying that you don't.
No, I'm not taking a contract. You're giving me a gift.
It's a gift.
Just like if you gave me a card. I'm not signing a contract for a card. You're giving me £5,000
You don't want them taking you on Judge Judy. Okay?
What, for a gift?
Well, they always say it's a gift. And then it turns out they end up in an argument and they want the gift back.
Yeah.
So, hey, the motives, people's motives behind doing things, that too you have to kind of be very wary of, you know.
Would you give it back?
Of course I wouldn't.
You spent it already in your head. You're like, £5,000, I'm going to do this.
Get some Bitcoin, some Ripple coins, put a couple of investments on Tesla and some
Tesla's
gold.
Doing very well at the moment. Yeah, very, very well.
So, you know, I've spent the money already. So she straightened her collar. So guys, just really shouting out all the DJs. I think DJ Laro's on tonight, 8 till 10, and then Mark Philogene on from 10 till 12. And you can catch Charlie Muir from 7 till 9 tomorrow, and Darnell as well. Darnell does a wellness show too. So shouting out Darnell. And also check out the schedule too. We have a variety going on all week. Thursday, DJ Ninja Man Lloyd and DJ Caddy. I think maybe John Jay jumps on as well. So check out the schedule. And we are also looking for DJs and presenters too. So yeah, come and jump on board. Thank you so much, all of you, for your company tonight. We do hope you've enjoyed the show. And like we say, we're here every single Tuesday from 6 till 8, talking about many, many different topics, various different things. So tell a friend, and bring them on board. So I guess that's it from us, Lelia. What is it, the 8th of December? Not too long. Counting down the days, I guess, till the new year. All right, I'm sure we can't wait to see the back of this year. But there was a lot of great things that happened.
This year taught me many, many lessons.
One lesson that you got from this year?
Believe in myself.
Yeah.
Self-belief.
It's amazing. Self-belief. For me, that even in a crisis, that something beautiful can come out of that.
Yes, definitely.
You know, so look for the opportunity to grow. That's right. We need to talk. Let's talk. Joy McKay, always there in the chat room. Just there is a really good energy, bigging it up. So just shouting out again, Gary and Kenny. Also guest 14, guest 308, guest 59, guest 601, guest 889, guest 967, and Guan Girl 23 from Hayes. Nice, I love that. So guys, whatever you're doing, stay blessed, stay happy, just stay elevated and remain in the vortex, all right? Don't let no one take you out of your vortex. And all we've got left to say to y'all is we'll see y'all on the other side. Take care.